everyone, it's 1 PM and today that means it's cocktail hour over here at HarperCollins. I'm Elke and I'm one of the digital marketing managers over here, but it's not about me because I'm very excited today that I have Bella Osborne with me, one of our authors. Bella, how are you doing?
Very well, Elke.
Okay, you're not daunted by this setup at all?
No, it's very exciting.
Excellent, because yes, we're not just going to be talking about Bella's new book, Coming Home to Ottercombe Bay, we're also going to be making cocktails, which will tie into the book, which you'll know in about 5 minutes when we actually start making them. So before we get started on the cocktails, do you want to give me a little bit of an idea, or the people watching a little bit of an idea, as to what the book is about?
Sure, absolutely. So Coming Home to Ottercombe Bay is the story of Daisy, and Daisy is very nomadic, and she's got quite a troubled past of things that have happened to her, and she has to come back to Ottercombe Bay because her beloved great uncle Reg has died. But she's not going to stop because it holds too many sad memories, so she pitches up, and but great uncle Reg had other ideas, so he's left her something in her will, but if she wants it, she has to stay in Ottercombe Bay for a whole 12 months. So that's kind of the premise in a nutshell.
That is indeed the premise of the book, and then it all kind of starts from there. So we're going to be making gin cocktails today, so first of all I'm going to let you read out the first recipe, and I'm going to get all the ingredients out, and then we're going to make one.
Okay, so we are doing Gin Loco Loco. So this is a made-up cocktail, which I invented, because why not?
Because why not?
Absolutely. Which involves 1 measure of gin, 1 measure of elderflower cordial, 1 measure of creme de pêche or peach liqueur, something along those lines, and 2 measures of tonic water.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to be mixing that up. So you said the cocktail is made up, but the inspiration comes from the book, doesn't it?
It does indeed, but it was one of the things we came up with that said, oh, it might be nice to invent a cocktail, a gin cocktail, which is really harder than you'd think, because actually so many have already been invented, because
that is very true.
Gin with so many different things.
That is very true, yeah.
So it was a dedicated evening that myself and some friends spent trying to come up with something that was new on the gin cocktail front.
You roped some friends into this.
Well, you see, I have some very supportive friends, so I put a note out to our group and just said, well, I need to do this. And the speed with which they came back was quite phenomenal. I'll help. So everyone was very keen to be involved in the conjuring up a new cocktail.
So did you have like a cocktail evening to conjure up a masterpiece?
We did indeed. It was.
I'm jealous I wasn't invited now.
Yes, sorry.
Next time.
Next time.
Yeah,
Next time. Absolutely.
Okay, so do we need to do small measures or big measures? I might just hand this to
you know, you're implying that I know what I'm doing, Elke, which actually I don't. I think
small ones?
That's a measure. Yeah, I think that's a measure. And is that a double measure? Does anybody know? So we don't know. We don't know. Go with the small one because it's only lunchtime, and we'll see how we go.
Yes, that is a very good idea. Okay, I'm going to try not to spill anything as I do this. Okay, 1 measure of gin.
You see, now that's before you've had the drink.
1 measure of gin. It's the nerves, Bella. It's just the nerves. I'm trying to hide them, but they slip through. Okay, that is gin done.
Yep.
Elderflower cordial. There we go. Do you want to tackle that one?
Okay.
Yes. Excellent. I can.
There you go. Team effort.
Yes. Yeah. I think elderflower isn't really used enough, is it?
No, it's very aromatic, so it gives cocktails a really nice sort of English gardeny sort of thing, and the peach does as well. The peach makes it very aromatic.
Okay, I'm very excited about the peach.
Well, we tried an awful lot of different things that evening, including crushed blueberries. Now the thought...
That sounds nice.
Well, you see, now you think that. We thought that.
Yes.
But what happens to blueberries, which I didn't know, when you crush them, they oxidise.
Yes.
So you end up with this sort of lumpy brown mess, which then floats on the surface of your cocktail, a little like frog spawn.
Okay,
it's
now
that
that does not sound very attractive.
So we ditched that one. That was so there were a few that went by the wayside before we got to the Go Loco Loco recipe.
Okay, that's the peach in.
Okay, excellent.
Very excellent. Note to everyone, including ourselves, do not put crushed blueberries in a cocktail if you ever want to invent one.
Doesn't work.
And then we have the tonic. That's your turn. There we go.
So depending on how strong you like it.
Okay, well,
wobbly cocktail maker.
I will hold it. We do have napkins in case it gets messy, guys. So
Oh, Oh, sorry, no, I've dribbled it over, Elke. Oh, look.
Oh, look.
Oh.
Well, we're drinking these anyway, so a bit of extra cocktail tonic water on my hand is just going to fit right in, isn't it? Okay.
So I can have those.
Okay, so that is everything, isn't it? So 1 measure of gin, 1 measure of elderflower, 1 measure of peach liqueur, and 2 measures of tonic water. Do you dare to give this a bit of a shake, Bella?
Well, I will.
Okay.
Let's hope it doesn't leak because we're going to wear it. Shall I do it over here in case we wear it?
Yes. Okay.
Oh, look.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
That's good. That's good. Ooh,
No, yes,
no.
it does leak. It does leak. There we go. Right.
Okay, excellent. So, glass.
We won't be doing anything Tom Cruise style.
No,
today.
we're not trained enough for that, I'm afraid. Okay, and I'm just going to. Well, not that we really need to strain it that much, do we? Because there weren't any bits in it, but we do it for show because it's real cocktail making. Okay, and then I do not have a slice of peach to garnish this with, unfortunately. But we could have some lime instead.
Yeah.
If I did slice them before, but I'm not sure how that worked. So, oh well, things are want to go wrong when you do things live. But I do quite like how it poses as a gin tonic, but then when you try it, it's not gonna.
It's a little bit more complex.
It's a little bit more complex. Okay.
Yeah. It's like it smells nice.
Yes. Shall I give this a try?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
See what you think. Was that evening worthwhile? That evening of dedicated.
Well, I really like how it smells.
testing.
I really like how it smells. That is really lovely.
It's nice, isn't it?
Okay, I'm sold on this one. Right, so before we crack on with the next cocktail, let's talk a little bit more about the book. So you invited your friends over to conjure up this utterly delicious cocktail. I can recommend it to anyone. But what was it in the book that made you think some of these ingredients have to go in it?
Well, it started from the point of what sort of seasidey, and we really struggled because things that are seasidey just don't fit in gin cocktails, like fish and chips, ice creams.
No.
It didn't really. So we went more with sort of English country garden-y type things.
Okay.
So that was why we went with the sort of the elderflower and the peach. We thought that was a nice way to go, and why we got things like blueberries, strawberries. I've sort of gone down that sort of line, all things sort of English country gardening. Because, like I say, the seasidey bit just didn't really, smell of amusement arcades. It doesn't really work.
No, I love fish and chips, but I cannot imagine having it in a glass with
No,
salad.
and there's nothing along those lines that you can even bring in.
No.
No, it doesn't work.
No. So, can you reveal a little bit as to how the gin ties into the book?
So, a bit tricky without giving away too many spoilers, but at a
Tiny spoiler.
At a point in the story, Daisy is involved in working behind a bar, so that's where the gin aspect comes along.
Yeah.
And gin being, very popular at the moment, it seemed like a logical thing for her to be involved in.
Excellent. So, does this mean that you did a lot of gin research for the book?
Funnily enough, I did. Yes, I did an immense amount of gin research. Probably more research than was actually required.
But it's fun research, so you want to do more of it.
I think it's very important for an author to do research. And there was an element that I did want to know, or make sure I knew enough about the subject that I was sort of dealing with, because whilst I am a gin drinker, I've not had any gin drinker, I didn't really know a huge amount about it. So I went to a gin festival, because I thought that was a good sort of place to go.
Very good, yeah.
It was very informative, it was very lovely, and there was lots of gin, about 100 gins. I didn't try them all, but I gave it a good effort.
Okay.
And so that was really interesting, and that was a good thing to go to. I also went to a local event in a pub near me, where there was a gentleman from a particular gin company that I won't mention, who was really, really helpful, and I explained to him what I was doing. I was writing a book, and there was gin involved, and he was terrific, and he gave loads of information anyway, but he was really helpful to me in to answering some of my slightly more off-piste questions and things, so that was really useful.
Did he reveal any gin making secrets?
Oh no, he did, but can I can't put it without using any names, so he did something that was really interesting.
Okay.
So I'm going to sound really nerdy now. So the reason there's been an upturn in the gin trade in this country recently is because just recently, a few years ago, Sipsmith went to court to try and get the law changed, because before this you could only make gin if you had a very large still that would produce like 1,800 litres or something. It really,
that's a lot of gin.
Yeah, exactly. So they went to court and they got a ruling that said you could make gin on a smaller scale. Now there is a gentleman who is a master distiller, and he is responsible for most of the small artisan gin companies that you see. He's moved around the gins, and he works with the gin company to produce something that's unique to them. So I can't reveal his name, but there is one person that is actually really key to a lot of them, which I thought was quite interesting. So he has a real talent and a particular palate for being able to distinguish what works and what flavours and botanicals go together. So there you go. That's the end of my nerdy bit. So.
No, I like the nerdy bit. Do you have any favourite gins yourself?
Good question. Are we allowed to say brands and things?
Well, I mean, we're making cocktails with Bombay Sapphire, so I'm hoping it is.
There's a plug for Bombay Sapphire. I like Bombay Sapphire. I do like that. That's one I like. I really like there's a rhubarb and ginger gin.
Oh, I don't think I've tried that one.
That's really nice.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really good, and that works really well with. I'll give you the recipe for a cocktail. It works really well with.
Excellent.
But that's really nice. I do like that one. My friend makes a very good rhubarb gin, so plug to Heather, which is very good, homemade. Otherwise, general gins, I'm not that fussy, really. I like a gin. Gin, yeah. Gin's good.
Okay. I'm feeling a little bit guilty that I've sort of been sneakily sipping my cocktail, so I feel like we should make one for you now.
Excellent. Let's
Bella. Which one would you like? Would you like the gin mojito or the English garden?
Well, there's some similarities with the English garden, so shall we try the gin mojito?
Yes.
That's a little bit different, isn't
Absolutely. So, what do we need for this?
So we need gin.
Gin,
we need sugar, so we have brown sugar.
Yes.
Lime juice.
Which I also have.
Brilliant. Mint, which is key, and soda water.
Okay, right. So is this one that we also have to make in the shaker, or do we make it straight into the glass?
Straight in the glass.
Excellent. Okay, so one fresh glass with a lot of ice. And what goes in first?
So the mint and the sugar goes together, and you sort of pulp it.
Pulp it. Okay.
Again, not an expert, but
yes, a couple of sprigs. I do really like mint in a cocktail.
Yeah, it's sort of fresh, isn't it?
Yes.
It's really nice. We should probably have said at the beginning, we don't actually know what we're doing. We're in no way professional when it comes to cocktail making.
We just
we're
like
having a bit of fun.
cocktails.
Yeah, we like cocktails.
We
thought we would share that with people, and we thought it might be fun.
Yes.
Now, I have a sweet tooth, so I possibly have more sugar than is needed. But and I'm going to throw it over the table as well. How many
That's
did
fine.
What do you think? 4 teaspoons.
4 teaspoons. That is quite a bit of sugar.
It is quite a bit. Should we do 3 and see how that goes? You'd be surprised though. It does kind of need.
Okay.
It needs a bit of. I'll nick the spoon. It needs a bit of pulping.
Okay.
So we can chat while I pulp.
Yes, we can chat while Bella does the pulping. So there's a lot of key components in the book. We obviously have Daisy arriving, intending on leaving as soon as she gets there, but then there's an uncle with inheritance tying her down for a year. We have the gin that's going to play a key part, but then there's the town of Ottercombe Bay itself, which is just such an idyllic setting. Is there any kind of specific places that you drew inspiration from to come up with the town?
There's a number actually. So I love the West Country. It's such a beautiful part of the country, and so there's kind of little bits of lots of different towns that I listed and that I love. So there's some key bits. There's a beautiful town in Devon called Beer, probably more village actually, and that and West Bay, which is in Dorset, both have this beautiful crescent beach with high cliffs on both sides, and that's exactly how I pictured Ottercombe Bay. It was this little secluded sort of cove with high cliffs on either side. And the thing it shares with Beer is that they have this beautiful thing where you walk down the beach, and on one side it's all little fishing boats, on the other it's all deck chairs. It's like this big divide between the fishing community and the tourists.
Okay.
So that's reflected in Ottercombe Bay. There's a little bit of Lyme Regis in there, where it's sort of the steep main street goes down to the sea. That's sort of stolen from Lyme Regis. The dilapidated railway building, which has been converted, that's stolen from West Bay. So there's lots of little bits that sort of come together really. But where it is in my mind is if you follow the River Otter, it comes down just by the side of Budleigh Salterton in Devon, and it just there's nothing there. It's an area of natural, outstanding natural beauty, and the river just peters into the sea. But that's where I'd put Ottercombe Bay. If I was going to pop it on a map, that's where I'd put it. So just the end of the River Otter.
Okay. Well, I can see where the name of the town comes from.
As if by magic.
It should be a real one.
That'd be nice. I think we might have mashed enough.
Okay, excellent. So do we move on to the lime juice?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. This is freshly squeezed. So if I can open it up, this will hopefully be very tasty. How much of that do we need?
Well, no, there's a question, isn't it? Should we do a measuring scheme? There we go.
Yes. Okay. Right.
Excellent.
While we're having this fun, people, feel free to comment on the video with your live questions for Bella as well, because you will actually have a chance to then win a copy of Ottercombe Bay and some lovely gin merchandise, I guess we can call it. Gin-related items that will go for a perfect night of reading as well. So make sure you get involved while we're having loads of fun. So, lime juice done. And what is next? Maybe the gin? Gin. Excellent. And getting in some extra lime as well. Excellent. So, one measure of gin? Or do you want to go double then?
No, let's go one. I'm a total lightweight.
Okay, this is going to get a little bit messy. And got the glasses so big.
It smells like. There's something about the smell of gin.
It's true. Okay, I'm just going to pour it like that. There we go.
So that's.
I feel like you need more, Bella.
We'll top it up with soda.
We'll top it up. Oh right, we still have to.
Otherwise I'll be found wandering the streets of London town, not knowing who I am or where I am.
Okay.
So interesting gin fact that I picked up along the way was that gin is actually just juniper flavoured vodka. It's just vodka with juniper flavour. Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew? I know.
Okay.
I know.
I had not realised that. Right, I'm going to hand this to you because you'll be drinking this, so it needs to be to your taste and not mine. Okay.
I'll try a bit of that.
Okay, give it a bit of stir. That is looking lovely though.
See? So you feel like you've actually made something, you've done all your pummelling, you say. It's a little reward at the end of it.
Yes, you feel like you deserve. You deserve.
It worked for my gin cocktail.
Okay, right. Oh, that's good. Okay. I'm going to have a sip of mine so I don't get too jealous. Cheers! Cheers! Very lovely.
Oh no, that's good.
Yes?
I think that's good. Yeah, that's good.
Excellent.
I shouldn't say that myself, but it's good. See, given for people that don't really know what we're doing, we do a good cocktail, don't we? We make a good cocktail.
I think yours looks better than mine, so I clearly need to work on my cocktail skills a bit more.
Well, that's something you can dedicate some time to, Elke. It's, you know, it's
a
worthwhile thing to do.
I will do that. So you spoke about Lyme Regis and where you put Ottercombe Bay on the map. I'm assuming you travelled to you kind of did a massive travel of everywhere so you could pick out the pieces that you liked. Did you have an absolute favourite place?
I think probably beer is my favourite. I do love beer. It's such a really lovely little. I don't know if it's a town or a village, but it's got that sort of villagey feel about it. And they have a river that comes through the town, but they've channelled it, so it sort of runs sort of along the pavement. It's there's some lovely little shops in beer. So beer is very pretty and very nice. Little stony beach, but very nice. Yeah. I would recommend beer for a trip if you're in the area.
So this is a question that you don't have to answer if it's going to be too big of a spoiler, but was there a particular part of coming home to Ottercombe Bay that you enjoyed most writing for a particular reason?
I enjoyed all of Ottercombe Bay, mainly because it's one of those books that just flowed. Sometimes books don't flow when you first start writing them, and this one really did. So I think all of it was a nice experience. But I particularly liked the scenes with Bug because they were fun.
With little Bugsy Malone.
Bugsy Malone, little black pug So they were always nice to do, because there are some other bits, without giving it away. There's some other harder things that are in there. Obviously, she's dealing with grief and things like that. So there are some harder subjects in there, some serious subjects in the book. So it's nice to have those light relief moments.
Yes.
So yeah, I really enjoyed writing things with the dog.
And he's quite a naughty little pug,
He
because
is a monkey.
I mean, he runs off. He kind of picks fights with Daisy.
He does. So they don't hit it off at the beginning, and he is a cheeky little thing. And yeah, but it adds a comic element to things, and he does get Daisy into some fixes. So yeah, it was always good fun to.
So
write him.
would you say he's kind of your favourite character in the book, or was it any of the other ones? Because there's Daisy and Max and Jason and Tamsin and Aunt Coral.
Yes, so there is a mix of people. I did love Bugsy. I very much liked Tamsin, because I haven't written a character like her before, and she has a real childlike quality.
Okay.
So it was really nice to have sort of a quirky character that you could let loose with a little bit. So she sees things very idealistically, and that's a really nice lens to have on the world, especially in times that we have. So it was really nice to see. She just only sees the good in people, and yeah, so that was a really nice character to write. That was somebody I really enjoyed writing.
Excellent. Right, I'm going to have a look at some of the live questions now, which you've all been sending in. Oh, and there are, wow, loads of them.
Excellent. There's people listening. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. It's probably our fantastic cocktail making skills that's just drawing people in.
Or in spite of them.
Or in spite of them. Some lunchtime laughs with my cocktail making skills. So Bella, question from Rachel. What is your favourite cocktail?
Well, not surprisingly, it's a gin-based cocktail.
Coincidence?
Strange. It's I think it's got various different names, but it's sort of like a rhubarb and custard, basically. And I don't know the exact measures, but it's this rhubarb and ginger gin I was talking about.
Yes.
With Advocar.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which is something you kind of think way back when my grandma used to drink Advocar. So you think, oh, didn't see that in many things.
My grandma puts it in a cake, which is really nice.
That's interesting. So rhubarb and ginger gin, Advocar, a dash of lemon juice, apple juice over ice. Give it a stir. When you drink it, it's just like, do you remember the rhubarb and custard sweets you used to have as a child?
Yes.
It's just like that. It's
Okay.
just like that. So it's a little bit dangerous, because it's very easy to go, well, this is nice, and sort of gulp it down.
Yes.
So, but that is really lovely. Treat of a cocktail. That's yeah.
That does sound nice.
That's my favourite.
Excellent. Question from Lucy. How long did it take to write your book? Because it's quite a special way to write a book, because we publish it in 4 parts and then we publish the paperback, so that must be quite a different experience.
Yeah, it is a little bit. I mean, I think I write it as one, so I write it all in one go, as you would any story. What I do slightly differently, I mean, you'd always have like hooks and things to keep people turning, because you want people to have a reason to keep reading.
Yes.
But I'm quite conscious of where I put those key points in the book, so they fall at the end of part 1, part 2, part 3, so that it gives people that moment of what happens next. So that's how it's sort of written slightly differently.
Okay.
And in terms of how long it takes me, I tend to do something called National Novel Writing Month, so NaNoWriMo, and that usually gives me a good kickstart in November. So that's like 50,000 words in a month, which is complete and utter madness and bonkers, but it is possible.
That's more than half a book, isn't it?
Yeah, so I tend to then carry on writing it through December, then you have Christmas, and into January. So I'm not sort of writing at the same sort of speed as I did in November, and then I've usually got a first draft by February time, and then I then bash it about and edit it myself for a bit, and then it goes off to my lovely editor for her to make it into a proper book and point out all the holes in it.
A question from Kimberly. Thank you, Kimberly. Are any of your characters inspired by people you've met?
Not individuals, no, but there are little traits and things that you pick up from people, and you just think, oh, that's interesting. And the little things, mannerisms, and I guess bits of backstory and things that you pick up either in the news or from people that you come across, that you end up sort of storing those. But the characters themselves are sort of a morph of all those things. They sort of come along and they're pretty well formed in my mind, and they are they aren't anybody I know. They're just this person that's been created in my head.
Well, the good news is it means you can't offend anybody if they think you've put them in your book.
That's true.
Now this could be a very controversial question, but also quite fun. Question from Molly: would you rather give up gin or writing?
Give up.
Give up.
Give up. Oh my goodness. Well, I couldn't give up writing. I physically can't because my head would explode. So there's all these things going on. I have a number of stories happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Apparently, my doctor says it's normal. It's fine. It is a very strange thing. I think if you have a writer's brain, you just do. So I think I would always write. I just would. I always have. I think I would just always write. So it would have to be the gym. That's heartbreaking, isn't it? I'd have to give up. Just have another
Yes,
sip.
I was about to say we'll just have another.
That was a
another
traumatic
sip.
question, wasn't it? Thank you.
All right, and then let's go on to a less dramatic question. Question from Michelle: how many unpublished and half-finished books have you written?
I have quite a few because that was the thing I used to do. So I used to write a bit of a story and then get to a point where I've got an idea for a different story. These other characters would appear and go, oh no, that's really good. So I put the first one aside and I'd start writing the next one because I was just doing it for fun.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, this is good. And then it did happen a few times. So I've probably got, I think, probably about 5 stories that are a good few thousand words, sort of halfway.
Wow.
Yeah, somewhere. They're probably really, really bad though. Not to be uncovered. But yeah, because it was just something I always did. It's an odd thing, I think. If you just write, you just do it. So yeah, I do have quite a few. So, scribbled away. And lots of other ideas as well.
Okay. Going from that, so Helen asks, when did you know you wanted to be an author? Was it kind of when all of these stories were accumulating in your head and you had to get them out, or was there a defining moment?
No, I don't think there was a defining moment. I would say, did I always want to be an author? I always wanted to be a vet when I was little. I always wanted to be a vet. But I would have loved to have been an author. I just never thought it was something that was an option or that was possible. Writing was just something I did as a hobby. So it wasn't, and even when I got to the point of deciding I was going to finish a novel just to see if I could do it rather than this half-done thing and then leave it, that was just a goal I set just to see if I could do it. It was never about actually being author, because what's the odds? What's the odds of being published?
Well, you did it. So
I know, but it is quite unusual. So I think I didn't expect it to happen. So it was just to see if I could write the book in the first place. So the idea, did I always dream of being an author? No. When did I realise? When an editor said to me, well, I really like this, and you go, oh, that's nice. Maybe I could actually write a proper book. So.
And another question from Emma. When you're not writing, what do you like to read?
Good question. I do like the sort of thing that I write. So there's some other fantastic authors, and I've been a huge, long-time fan of Jill Mansell.
I love Jill Mansell as well.
And Katie Ford. Those two can do no wrong, really. They're always so reliable and always a fabulous read. So those are some of my favourites. Millie Johnson. On those, but I joined a book club a few years ago, and that's really widened my taste, and that's good. It's a good thing.
Yes.
To try different things and different authors. So I quite like a thriller, although nothing too upsetting. Nothing that sort of plays on your mind when you're trying to go to sleep.
Right.
So I don't mind a thriller, and I like those that I don't know how you classify them. Things like Eleanor Oliphant, loved it, absolutely loved it. Rosie Project, loved it. Those that sort of a little bit quirky. So, all sorts really, but reliable beach reads, Jill Mansell, Katie Ford, Johnson.
Very, very good choices. Now, before we go, because we're almost out of time, time flies when you're making cocktails and answering questions. Are you allowed to give us a little bit of a sneak preview of your next book without spoiling everything? Is that allowed?
I should think so.
Okay.
So the next book is gone for a completely different setting, which is set near Birmingham.
Okay.
Which is a bit different, but it's set around a private park, so that you can only have access to that if your property backs onto it. And my heroine happens to have a flat that backs onto the park, so it's Anna, and it's sort of partly about the park, partly an office-based story, and
it reminds me a little bit of Notting Hill, where you have the private park in the film where you can only get into when you have a house bordering them. So it's that kind of setting.
It is similar, but in Birmingham.
Okay.
Yes, just to give us a bit of a Midlands local feel to it. And Anna gets spectacularly dumped by her fiance, so she decides she's going to go it alone, and be independent and focus on her career. And then an American comes along and puts a spanner in the works.
Oh, okay. I am very much intrigued. I definitely have to read this book. So hurry up and write it, Bella, so I can read it. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me. I've had a lot of fun, personally. Thank you everyone for watching, for your great questions. We will choose a winner from amongst them, and we'll let you know who wins a copy of the book, a lovely sneaky gin teacup, and some little bottles of gin as well. For anyone who wants to get the book, you can get it from Amazon or your local bookshop, and kind of a sneaky sales pitch. You can currently get it in the Amazon summer sale for 99p. I mean, for a great ebook beach read, I think that's a bargain, but then I'm prejudiced because I really love this book. Thank you so much, Bella. If people want to know more about you, they can find you on Twitter?
They can, on Twitter and on Facebook and on my website.
Excellent. So Twitter is @Osborne_Bella. Of course, keep following us here on HarperCollins as well, and tune in on the Avon Books UK channel as well, where we're always talking about loads of books, including Bella's. And in that case, we will say, well, I was going to say good night, but we're not quite there yet. Cheers. So have a lovely afternoon, and cheers.
Thanks, everyone.